difficulty breathing. And I find this to be especially true in not only stressful situations, but heat. Heat really brings this out. And often people will look at me and I'll say, I'm having a tough time breathing right now. And they're like, well, you're kind of in shape. Why are you so winded? If it's like over 80 degrees outside, I find it incredibly difficult to breathe for any length of time. And I realized that this wasn't a very common situation with this disease when I talked to my first couple of neurologists and I would tell them, I really actually have a lot of problems breathing. And they would say, well, it's actually the MS hug. And that could be true. But the MS hug I've experienced is farther down around the rib cage. And this is more breathing related. And I don't have the rib cage pain when I have the breathing issues. It's just like I cannot catch my breath. And the hotter I get, the harder it is to actually breathe. So is it a thing? Well, according to my research, yes, it is. Let's take a look. And here we go. And this is on the National Multiple Sclerosis Society website. I love their stuff. It is very factual and based on evidence. And here we go. It says breathing issues and multiple sclerosis. Let's move this over a little bit so you can see it. Respiratory problems due to multiple sclerosis. Respiration or breathing is primarily under the control of the autonomic or automatic nervous system. This is part of the central nervous system that controls vital functions, such as the heartbeat and respiration without your conscious thought. It is unusual for multiple sclerosis to affect the autonomic system, and for this reason, it's uncommon for breathing problems to occur in MS as direct result of loss of autonomic control. However, it's something that I've run into just a couple of people that have the same thing. No, shortness of breath is not usually a direct symptom of MS. If you are experiencing shortness of breath, go to the emergency room. Breathing problems that occur with MS present differently than what you might call shortness of breath. People with MS experience a tightening of the chest called the MS hug. Okay, so while I agree with this article for the most part, I can tell you that probably about 3.5 months ago, I ended up going to the emergency room when I couldn't breathe. And I could breathe. It just felt like I could not breathe. I took a 2.5 hour MRI scan session, and at the end of the day, they basically said, oh, it's your MS. So there you go. What they call it is intercostal spasms. So the intercostal muscles are the ones around your rib cage and stuff. And when they start spasming, it can really not leave a lot of room to actually get your breath. And that can cause a panic attack, and that can cause all kinds of issues. So yeah, while, as you can see here, a lot of people will say MS does not cause shortness of breath. I can tell you from a patient's experience that it does, or at least difficulty breathing, maybe not shortness of breath.